ever meet.
Guys stepping in for a 205-pound title fight. And Ron, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Grigsby and Rogers both used to fight a 185.
They did.
My gosh, looking at how lean they are and how muscled they are here, how did they ever make 185?
You know, it's interesting, too. I think it's so ironic that you say that because I think both of their performance suffered at 185. They're just bigger guys.
Yeah, with that kind of a weight cut, no doubt about it.
You know, let's not make any mistakes here. Both of these guys have crushing knockout power, crushing, to the point where this fight could end at any moment with one punch.
And what a brutal leg kick to open the bout by Rogers. Nothing like coming out and putting a stamp on the fight almost immediately. And then Rogers comes in nicely with the overhand right.
And look, we've seen Canaan Grigsby flatten Lumumba Sayers. And it's not to say that it's not possible again, but man, Brian Rogers is coming out like a house on fire.
Corner of Rogers saying they want him to continue with the kicks. Flying knee for Rogers.
Big power from both of these guys right now landing.
Grigsby gets himself in the fight with the left hand.
Yep.
Came over the shoulder nicely.
Brian Rogers throws those beautiful, short, compact, straight right hands that just devastate people. But I'll tell you right now, when Canaan Grigsby is in shape, man, he's a scary guy.
No doubt about that.
Very unorthodox type of fighter, too, by the way, but nonetheless incredibly effective. Oh, and a big right hand lands from Grigsby, and Brian Rogers eats it like a tic-tac.
Slip there. Grigsby not able to capitalize. Good job with the guard by Rogers. Didn't reach for the punch, just trusted his guard, kept his hands in place, let the punch skip off.
I see Grigsby blinking his eyes. I'm wondering if he got an eye poke or something. He seems to be bothered by something that was, he's blinking his eyes.
Yeah, I think his left eye's starting to swell up a little bit.
Bad spot right there against the cage.
Oh, and a beautifully timed knee, and then the elbow comes over the top.
And another knee. But Grigsby does a really nice job of hanging in there, absorbing it and taking it against the cage to dissipate that energy from that knee.
Yeah, a lot of toughness in both these guys.
Very much so.
You know, we talk about the power and the one-shot effectiveness, but both these guys probably going to take more than that.
Without a question. But each of them have the power for a one-night or one-shot fight over business.
Rogers thought about a level change. Dropped his right hand down. His corner was calling for that earlier.
Nice inside knee right there from Rogers lands. Grigsby looking to separate with an elbow.
And Grigsby doing a nice job using his height here.
Yeah.
He's letting his back rest against the cage and just slowing down the action enough, keeping Rogers from being effective. Getting some separation, that's exactly what he wanted.
Big, deep breath from Grigsby, but again, looking to land that brawling type of style of his, but Brian Rogers doing a nice job of reversing position and putting Canaan Grigsby against the cage again. And a takedown beautifully. Inside leg trip, beautifully done.
Just scooped that leg out. Just over a minute left here. They're in the corner of Rogers.
Bad spot for Grigsby.
In the corner of Rogers, begging for elbows.
Grigsby doing a nice job of hand fighting there as Rogers is looking to position himself and pin Grigsby against the cage, which he's doing. But Rogers looking to get up top and throw some shots, but Grigsby doing a nice job of standing up against the cage.
30 seconds left. Grigsby, nice job getting himself back to his feet here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a tough position to be in.
And he's also doing a nice job of being able to catch his breath, get some rest. He's resting at the right time. 10-second clacker. Good, entertaining first round. They look pretty good. They look fresh. They look ready to go. Second round, here we go.
Cage doors locked, and you're right. They both stepped to the center of the ring.
Yeah.
Little pep in the step.
I think in Canaan Grigsby's corner, they gave him a little bit of a sense of urgency here because he's coming out a little bit more aggressive than he did in that first round. Oh, and a big right hand lands for Grigsby.
And Rogers answered it nicely with a knee that Grigsby didn't seem to care about.
Oh, and a big shot lands from Grigsby. And Grigsby's starting to throw some heavy right hands on Brian Rogers.
Flurry there for Grigsby to get him backed into the cage. See if Rogers can use his strength and leverage underneath Grigsby and get the turn here that he's going to want.
Big knees thrown from Grigsby right now as he's got Rogers against the cage. I think for Rogers, he's got to spin off that cage and get back to the center where he was more effective.
Agreed. Got to dig for an underhook, try to leverage under the shoulders.
Just like you said it.
And the corner of Rogers calling for head position now and able to lock up the double leg. Powerful move by Mr. Rogers.
Big power slam from Brian Rogers. Gets Grigsby airborne. Puts him on his back.
Rogers taking a couple of deep breaths here, keeping the left hand busy so the referee doesn't stand him up, but he expended a lot of energy getting that takedown. Good job by Grigsby off of his back, shutting down the hips and legs of Rogers.
And I think Grigsby's doing a nice job of relaxing in there, getting his wind, not really exerting too much.
Yeah, legs intertwined, lockdown position.
Yep.
It's not a real muscly type move.
Exactly. Not expending a lot of energy. And Brian Rogers right now this is where he's got to make the offense happen.
Now Rogers expending some energy.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got to in that position.
For sure.
He's got no choice. He can't lay on top. He's got to keep throwing punches. And he's got to keep advancing the offense.
Grigsby's starting to get on a hip. See if he looks to effect an escape here, coming out to his own right side.
Good strategic fight from both guys.
Yeah, the last time that you and I saw Grigsby fight in Colorado, we both commented a lot on how his ground game and his jiu-jitsu had improved, and he's, even though not attacking here, he's really keeping himself safe against what's a dangerous opponent.
And you can see he's definitely been putting his time in the gym on the groundwork especially. He's tenfold better than what he used to be. But, again, he's been training a long time, so we expect that kind of progression out of guys.
And Rogers with a methodical guard pass attack here. Wants to try to clear that bottom foot of Grigsby. Then he'll be almost completely inside control.
Good hard body shots landing for Rogers as he pounds the side of Grigsby while Grigsby's on his side. It seems as though Grigsby's got Rogers' left arm trapped. And now
Rogers pops
yeah,
it free. Yep,
yeah.
You called it, Ron. And looking to come back to his feet. Rogers going to thread a leg through there, try to rip that left leg of Grigsby out, see if he can't face plant him here. Less than a minute for these guys to finish working this round. Couple of grueling rounds, Ron.
This is where you really get exhausted. And on top of that, you know, this is where they're, at the same time, they're conserving energy for that third round, I think.
Yes, sir. I was just going to say, Rogers got to try to get at least one hand free, start to go to work.
Two strong guys.
About to get the 10-second clacker. We're going to go to a third.
Wow. Who would have ever thought that two big hitters like this would go to a third and final round? Outstanding second. Third and final round, Paramount MMA.
7.
Thank you.
7.
The cage on the stage. Oh, big left hook lands for Grigsby.
And Rogers had his knees locked, went a little stiff-legged for a second, but beautiful double leg takedown. And Rogers showed us throughout probably the majority of round 2 that he can keep it here.
Absolutely. Beautifully timed duck under and a blast double puts Grigsby on his back. And this is where Rogers has been successful for this fight so far.
Grigsby again working the lockdown on one leg. Of course, does not want Rogers to pass to full mount. But Rogers, if he can work his hands free, he'd be perfectly content to stay here and pepper away with strikes from the top.
Yeah, Grigsby's got to focus on standing up, getting his back against that cage, standing up and getting himself off that cage. Keep that fight in the middle. And he's been landing good hooks and big, heavy overhand rights. But Brian Rogers has been able to take everything he's thrown so far tonight.
And Grigsby scooting just a little bit, trying to get his back and his shoulders against the cage. Going to want to try to start walking up.
But Rogers staying busy, and that's the key. In a tight, close fight, you've got to stay busy. You've got to show the judges that you're the harder working fighter in there. You've got to accumulate points when you can. And I think Brian Rogers has done an excellent job of doing that and kind of stealing that type of momentum as this fight has gone on.
And to keep the referee from standing
That's right.
as well.
That's absolutely right. Oh, and this is where
now
this is a
go to
problem.
work. Powerful shots from the top.
Wow. And Grigsby threw a really nasty set of back elbows that just missed the mark.
And now just controlling the torso of Rogers is Grigsby. Wants to hold on, wants to keep him from posturing.
Wow,
going
look
for
at
the
the
roll
strength.
is Grigsby.
Look at the strength of these guys.
Beautiful escape. And Grigsby with the energy to throw a flying knee.
2. Kudos to him for showing up in Colorado and fighting the way he is. And Brian Rogers doing an outstanding job positionally tonight, all night long with Grigsby. And Grigsby's a dangerous hitter.
Ate a couple of elbows there as he went for the takedown. Made Rogers think about it. Tried to rip the hips off the cage. Did Rogers. Grigsby wise to it. Good job with his footwork here against the cage. And look at those guys grinding their heads.
And you can hear Coach Mark Montoya right now telling him, get your head in position. for Brian Rogers, and he's basically telling him, suck that leg back and take that single.
Yep.
Grueling, grueling fight.
Rogers going to want to try to pop his head free here, and Grigsby does it on his own by changing arm position. But Rogers basically just keeping his head a little bit too low right now. Grigsby trying to work under the chin. Now Rogers has the head position he wants and able to throw a powerful knee strike.
Big knee to the body lands for Brian Rogers.
And then a foot sweep in order to get Grigsby down onto his butt.
That's right. Positionally excellent tonight. And you could see the pain and you could see the grind wearing right now on Canaan Grigsby's face. But he is hanging tough in there.
And I think if we were able to see Rogers' face, we'd see the same thing.
Yeah, exactly right.
Back to standing. Both these guys have to know it's a very close fight. They're going to swing hard here at the end.
This is where Grigsby's really dangerous.
Rogers eats a couple shots and tries to drive forward. 10-second clacker sound. These guys are going to put it out there.
What a fight. What a fight.
Big Al.